For your work, and you'll be racing today. Good luck. See you at the finish. All right, y'all, would you give a round of applause? Welcome the director of Gone Riding.
Hey kids, it's the old goat here, and this is my video of the Santos 12-hour mountain bike race I went to recently. It's interesting, it has a Le Mans start where the racers actually have to do a short run to get to their bicycles, and then they grab their bicycles and do a prologue lap. My plan was to get a video of them running up the hill and then to cut across and get video of them running to their bikes. But they started running and the horde was coming so quickly, all I could think was I better get way over to the side before I get trampled. And here are some of them picking up their bikes now, and you'll see them flying through. There are a couple of hundred cyclists here. There they go. And they just kept coming and coming. Probably a couple of hundred racers in different categories. Now a lot of this video is shot at this section here. It's the racers coming through on this rock section. I took it from different angles. But I pre-rode the course the day before, and believe me, you come upon this rocks and it is a little bit intimidating, or a lot intimidating. See, there are actually two lines through there, then there's a third line over to the side, which is a lot shorter but a lot harder, and very few people actually rode that other line.
Well, that was interesting.
These first riders coming through were some of the leaders.
Come on, Bryce, go, buddy. Go.
And I think there were a lot of locals racing, and they may have a little better knowledge of how to ride some of these obstacles.
The peloton is here.
I said the average rider age was probably between 30 and 40. So it's something that you don't have to be, you know, a 22-year-old to compete in. Probably the oldest racers were in their 50s, and there were a lot of women racing as well. It's a 12-hour race. The normal entrant was part of a 4-person team, and they would take turns doing laps. So I think the winning team did 19 laps. Now I went down with my friend Bart, and he was racing as a 6-hour solo competitor, and he did 7 or 8 laps, between 50 and 60 miles, which was just amazing on this technical terrain. I did a couple laps and I was just whooped.
Sorry. That one sucks.
Now Santos actually has 70 or 80 miles of mountain bike trails, and they used a couple of the trails for the race course. This is the Vortex Trail, which is the most technical trail down there. And then there was another one called Twister, which was a lot flatter and a lot more fun. They did have a lot of man-made wooden structures built on there, some berms and caterpillars and things, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really great place to ride, especially in winter. It's been very wet and cold here in North Carolina, and it was nice to get down to some warm, dry weather. We camped. It was not too hot. It got a little cool at night, but I was just in a sleeping bag in a tent and did fine. So I'm looking forward to heading back down there. It's definitely a good mountain biking destination in the winter months. I think it was only $5 to get in and camp for the night, so for 3 nights. We actually spent 3 nights down there.
I'm ready yesterday.
About a 600-mile drive from mid-North Carolina. We left at 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon and got there about 1:30 in the morning. Set up our tent outside the gate, and then at 8 o'clock the next morning they opened the gate, and we just picked up our tent and carried it about 100 yards and sat it down and moved the truck in and set up the rest of our camp. Really had a good time.
It's all right.
It's hard, but not impossible.
OMBA, that's O-M-B-A, is the Ocala Mountain Bike Association, and they maintain all these trails. And in addition to the trails, they have huge pump tracks and jump tracks and just play areas for bicyclists. They do a really amazing job, so hats off to OMBA. The main trailhead for the OMBA mountain bike park was just about 2 miles from here. It's had a large parking lot with some more pump tracks and information, and you can get onto a lot of the trails there and ride.
And then you choose people. That's going to be my new route the next way, boys.
I have a couple other videos I shot with the GoPro just of my riding around on this trail and on some of the others as well, so you might want to check that out. Well, a lot of cuties in this race. A lot of these cuties can ride circles around me, that's for sure.
Sorry. No worries, bro. I didn't see you. I'll get around you right here.
Easy there. Easy there. Nice.
I know the line is so much more smoother. It's just intimidating at first. But I'm, ooh.
You alright? Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on, buddy.
Good.
It was rough, but I made it.
Can't believe these exciting people still coming through.
Wonder how many entries there were. I think we're getting towards the tail end of it.
Yes, sir. Thanks, brother.
You got it.
Got the wombats here.
WOMBATS is an acronym for Women's Mountain Biking and Tea Society. That's a big mountain biking club for ladies out west.
See ya.
And then a minute later, like one of the other guys was looking at the door, so he's like,
Have fun.
Dramatic action shot of me climbing over that.
he did it. He was wiping his face off, and then he peeked up and down.
That was almost bad.
Fat tire bicycle.
I'm stuck under the
That may have been the only fat tire bike I saw in the race.
No, no.
I can go back and do it.
You'll have another chance.
Of course, when mountain biking started, they were all referred to as fat tire bikes compared to the skinny road tires. Actually, a lot of times mountain bikes were marketed as all-terrain bikes or ATBs, which was really, I always thought, a better definition or a better name for them than mountain bikes. Now these rocks here, you can't see it from the other side, but that's really a tough transition to get up on there. It's actually built up with bricks.
Well, it is when people ride it.
Oh, wait, let's see. Let's take it off of there, right?
We're cut from the same cloth, sister. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Oh, come on, everybody with your jersey on, walk.
I pre-rode this course the day before the vortex, and it just about killed me.
Straight up here. Next time I know. Yeah.
I did a couple of laps and I was just worn out.
Next time I know to do the same thing I'm doing now.
Okay, here's the famous banana hammock. Apparently he's ridden this before. Sort of laid down on my back to get some of these pictures. Actually got a good look underneath at the way this thing was built, and it is heavy duty. It's going to last for a long, long time. I think one lap around is about 7.8 miles, and they added a 6-mile prologue lap to let the racers spread out before they entered the woods. Race started at 10 a.m. and went until 10 o'clock at night. So the last 4 or 5 hours, riders were using lights because they were running in the dark. Now this is the transition area. You're required to dismount so they would have time to see your number plate. And then if you were on a team, you would hand off the baton to a teammate here.
Come on, Tom Delgado. 6-hour solo on his heels. Comes Ron Henry.
That was part of the race course, went right past our tent where that last video was. Here's just a few still photos. A lot of spectators and supporters. I'm not sure why they had that motorcycle lead the racers up the hill. I guess just to make sure the way was clear and to let the audience know the riders were fixing to come through the thundering herd. There's the banana hammock. And me lying down waiting for riders. Okay, kids, this is the old goat. I hope you've enjoyed this, and please subscribe and click like and watch for more videos.